Everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob at Super League Malibu. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas. SFuels go longer. HOKA Let's Fly deboer wetsuits. Forum Smart Swim goggles. Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand. Quintana Premium Plus Sports, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest has been on fire this year. She's come off of winning the Paris Test event, the Pontevedra ITU Grand Final. Beth Potter joins us. Beth, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, a bit tired and a bit sore, but I'm okay.
Well, you've had. It's not like when you're doing like the test event, you win by 6 seconds, and then about 20 seconds at Pontevedra. So these are tight races.
Yeah, it's been really exciting, and it's come down to the kind of run at the end. So it's been good fun the last couple of months, and to win the two biggest races of the season was. So
going into this season was the thought that, okay, I have to be all in this year. Because you come from a straight running background, correct?
Yeah, so I competed in Rio in the 10,000 metres. And so at the start of this year, it was all about Olympic qualification. And I had to podium at both the two major races of the season. And didn't expect to win them both, but here we are.
Here we are. So growing up, was running the sport right from the beginning when you were in like grammar school, high school?
No, I actually started off as a swimmer, and it was through swimming that I got into running.
Okay.
And I just quickly realised I was a lot better at running than I was at swimming, and I was winning races quite quickly from an early age. So that's naturally where it went.
And then, of course, at some point you got to make that decision. If you've been at the Olympics in 2016, then it's, well, do I change entirely and go to triathlon, or do I stay in running? What was the deciding factor for you?
I think I had always, had a bit of pressure, like, oh, you should try triathlon.
Yeah.
Like from a young age, because I could swim and run. Sorry. But it was never. I always wanted to see how well I could go on the track, and then after picking up a vomiting bug the night before my final in Rio, and obviously not performing to a very high standard, I just kind of fell out of love with it and wanted to try something completely different. And I thought, now it's now or never. So yeah.
And so you represented Scotland at the Commonwealth Games, ran for Great Britain, 10,000, 34th in the Olympics. Brownlee brothers, they were pretty instrumental in getting you to make the move?
Yeah, so obviously I didn't have that long to kind of get good at it. I moved to triathlon when I was 24, 25 years old, so it was, it had to be like an accelerated journey into triathlon, having never ridden a bike before. And so I decided to go to Leeds, and obviously with both Alistair and Johnny living there and putting Leeds on the map for triathlon.
Yes.
I decided to just move there.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Now, I remember talking to Gwen Jorgensen, same type of thing. She was a swimmer and runner in college, and then was ready to start her career as a CPA, and was the USA Triathlon said, how about triathlon? And so she was talking about falling over stoplights, not knowing how to clip in and clip out. The cycling experience for you, somewhat similar?
Yeah, very similar. I think, one of my first weeks in Leeds, I was out riding with Non Stanford, and I got to one of the yellow boxes at the traffic lights, and I was meant to unclip my feet, and I didn't do it in time. And next thing I was on the floor like this. So it's been a brutal learning curve. But
well, yeah, because it's not, if you're going into sort of the longer distance stuff, you're sort of by yourself.
Yeah.
But you're riding in a pack all the time. So bike handling and not being scared of these fast-moving objects being close to your body is pretty different.
Yeah, no, it was a really hard learning curve, and I think doing it as an adult as well. You know the risks. If you come off your bike, it's going to probably hurt, and just you don't pick up those skills as easily as you would if you're a child. So it was difficult, and I really had to. I'd spent a lot of time training with people a lot younger than me, 18-year-olds.
Who have no fear.
Yeah, because then it was, I was in with these guys, and it was just full throttle. They just don't use their brakes. So
well, it's not like you could start out with the juniors or under 23s and move your way up. You had to go right in with the top athletes on the planet.
Yeah, and it was difficult because you're not getting time at World Cups to get familiar and comfortable in that kind of setting. You do well in one World Cup, right? You're into World Series.
Yes.
And it was very much always at the deep end, and so I feel like a lot of my results reflected that. I was just completely out of my comfort zone. You know, finishing like, I don't know, in the 20s in World
Sure.
Series, and knowing that I could do better, but it was a very accelerated learning curve.
And the hard part is, you know, you're going to get off the bike and run a lot faster than people. But if you're that far back, then
Yeah.
you're it's like, okay, I'm running my way up to 12th.
Yeah,
or
so
8th.
so for a lot of the last couple of years, I needed races to go very much easy swim, easy bike,
Right.
so
And
that I could use my run. But
Yes.
and it's taken time. But this year I've won from different scenarios. I've won when, you know, I was 35 seconds down in the swim for some
Right.
reason, and
Yeah.
I've won when I've been at the front of the swim. So it's just been really good this year to kind of get an experience of it all.
Well, that's the mark of a champion, right? When you get to the point where you've got the skill set to win any different way. No
Yeah.
matter how it plays out, if it's raining, if you've got an Uber swimmer or an Uber cyclist that gets off,
Yeah.
you know that you can still be there because you're strong across the board. When
Yeah.
did you get to the point where you started feeling comfortable on a bike?
Probably a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I did a couple of winters, you know, doing a lot of riding in groups, riding at pace in groups, in organised chaos. So yeah, I got really.
Was that with the boys in Leeds?
Yeah, mainly boys. Yeah.
Yes.
So I got a lot more comfortable on the bike, and yeah, I really enjoy riding my bike now. And it was it was something that I didn't really enjoy when I came to Leeds. But
Yes.
it's one of my
Now it's one of your favorite things.
Yeah, yeah.
As someone who comes from a running background, did you find that the cycling and obviously you had a swimming background as well, did it help your running?
Yeah, I've actually run quicker. Yeah.
That's interesting. It's always been one of my philosophies is that you run less, you run forever, right? You can use the swim
yeah.
and the bike to tune up the machine.
Yeah. Well, when I
Yeah.
was younger, I did a lot of swim training and just supplemented it with, like, you know, 2 track sessions a week.
Yes.
And I was able to run. You know, I qualified for, junior champs and stuff just off a swim background. Really.
Right. Yeah.
So I knew that sort of training worked for me. So yeah.
It's funny because someone like a Chelsea Sodaro at Ironman in college, she had like 6 stress fractures.
Yeah,
And
we were very similar. I actually met
Yeah.
Chelsea when I was.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we know each other. We were on a camp in Flagstaff together on
Yes.
different kind of groups and stuff.
Yes.
But we have very similar PBs all the way from 1500 to 10k.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's like within seconds of
Oh,
each
that
other.
is funny because she basically decided she needed to rehab from
Yeah.
all her stress fractures, which was cycling and swimming.
I also had many stress fractures when I was at Loughborough University studying.
Did you?
So, and I spent a lot of time having to go to the pool, aqua jog, and swim with it. So
That is fascinating. I mean, if I was working with a college coach or a high school coach, I think I would incorporate more, having bike trainers at the track and getting people
Yeah.
in the water to replace some of those run workouts with swimmer bike.
yeah, definitely. I think it's been a massive part of my training all the way from being a teenager to now.
So what's your straight 10K, like 10K in the track? What's your PR?
It's not that fast because I've not done it in ages.
Oh, yeah,
but,
you were young
It's my
then.
PB from 2016, so 32:03.
Nothing wrong with that.
No,
32.
it's the same time on the road as well. So
And now, when you get off the bike, what's your personal best off the bike?
in Paris, I ran a 32:50 something, but I ran a 32:40 in calorie. So yeah, it's in the 32s, 33s.
Was there one triathlon that basically told you, okay, my work is paying off here. I think I can be one of the best.
I don't think.
Or was it just a process?
Yeah, I think it's been more of a kind of process, not really a defining moment, but probably more so last year and this year that I made the right decision.
Was it hard to get? You were going to be a teacher.
I was a teacher, yeah.
You were a teacher. So you went to university and became what did you teach?
Physics.
Okay. So you as a teacher and then you're thinking, well, do I give this up? Now did you move to Leeds and teach there?
No,
early?
I quit my job and then moved to Leeds.
Was that scary?
Yeah.
That's really
Very.
scary, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought I was mental for doing that, but yeah.
What did your parents think?
Yeah, they backed me. They were like, "Yeah, do it. You're only
You're
young once." Yeah.
You go for it. I mean, and the deal is you can always teach.
Yeah, and I had that to fall back on. So.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, we see that. One time I was interviewing one of the pros, Sky Munch.
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize. I think a lot of people think that athletes like yourself were, identified when you're 5, 6 years old and given all this support to go and be a professional athlete. And I'm interviewing Sky at the St. George event, and we're in a bank. We're doing this show from a place called Zion's Bank, and she goes, "I was a teller at Zion's Bank." I'm like,
really?
"Wait, what?" She goes, "Yeah, I was. My parents told me they couldn't afford college for me, so if I wanted to go to college, I would need to, fund it myself. So I cleaned houses and I worked as a teller." And graduated with my CPA owing nothing, and then found out she was good at triathlon and became a professional triathlete. But
That's funny.
she can always be a CPA. She can always be an accountant, which is very cool. So you won the European Champs 2019, and then 2021 you won the esports.
Yeah.
You like the arena games? Are pretty fun.
I do. Yeah, I think it's brutal racing. It's really hard, but it's very much like how I train because it's all interval training.
Yes. Is that right? You do mostly interval training?
I do a lot of interval training, and I like the interval training part of my schedule.
And Super League, how does that work with World Tri in terms of your working? Does the Super League complement that well?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think the racing is really good. It's really helped me develop as an athlete. I lacked a lot of the kind of race experience, and I think Super League has helped accelerate that part of my racing. So.
You're right, and so now you're qualified for the Olympics in triathlon. This will be your second Olympic Games, right? One for running, and then one here for triathlon. Not that many people have gone to the Olympics in two different sports. That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. So.
And so now that you're qualified, which is a wonderful position to be in because you can plan your season knowing you're going to Paris.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? Have you started thinking about what you want to do this next year?
I'm very much a creature of habit, so I just want to keep things very similar to what I did this year.
Exactly.
Not change anything. And just, I think what I've been doing the last couple of winters has been working.
Yes.
Maybe like budget on a little bit,
Yes.
a little bit more of everything. But I don't want to change, my kind of plan going into next year too much.
And you're in Leeds still?
Yeah, I live in Leeds. I've got a house there with my boyfriend.
How fun is that?
Yeah.
And so you train with Alistair and Johnny?
I do. I see them every day.
Every day?
Every day. A couple of times a day.
Well, it's
Lucky
nice
me.
to be, Johnny's got a gold, silver, and bronze, and Alistair's got 2 golds, so that isn't bad company to be hanging
It's
out
not.
with.
If I can have the average of that, that'd be great.
That is so fun. And when you talk to any of your running buddies from back in the day, and they're like, wait, you're doing what?
Yeah, no, they follow along, and some of my friends that I used to teach with as well, they're always tracking me. So it's it's nice.
That's so cool. I love that. What do you look at as the best race you've had?
I actually think it was probably Paris this year.
Yes.
Dealing with the pressure of that race, and it coming down to a sprint finish on the run
With Cassandra.
With one of the the best runners.
She's phenomenal.
Being able to get the better of her there in her home country, on her course.
Oh,
so,
the crowd's going crazy for Cassandra.
I don't think I heard one name, my name being
throughout
shouted.
the whole 10K with people just screaming, Cassandra, Cassandra.
Yeah. So I think dealing with that pressure and coming out on top, I think was really important for me this year, and hopefully gives me a good kind of confidence going into next year.
But you knew you really just needed to be podium right there, right? Podium in both there and Pontevedra. But there was something that drove you going, podium's nice, but I'd still rather be in the top step here.
Yeah, well, I think Alistair actually said to me at the beginning of this year, you need to go to Paris and you treat it like an Olympics and you need to win. So I think I had that in the back of my head. And, similarly with the grand final, I got to the grand final and I was in the position to win the world title as well at this point. And
yes, the World Series,
Yeah, and I was, I need the way I'm going to do that is by beating Cassandra. So I need to win.
How important has Alistair been? Because he's such a mentally strong guy.
Yeah, really. Both Johnny and Alistair. But I train with them every day, and they see me training all the time. So, I constantly getting feedback from both of them, and trying to help me get better. So
have they helped you a lot with the bike?
Yeah, loads. Yeah. I can't even
bike handling, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, like doing sessions with me and everything. Same. Yeah. So
I love that. Those guys give back. Have you been to any of their events for kids?
I haven't. No.
Not yet, but you will.
Yeah.
they'll be getting you part of that. Beth, such a pleasure to get to meet you.
And
I
you.
look forward to seeing you at the Olympics next year. That is so cool. If somebody had said a couple of years ago, you'll be racing in the Olympics in Paris, you probably would have been like, what?
I would have hoped so, but for it to be coming real now,
It's real special. Now here you'll be racing in the surf. I don't think they have a lot of surf in Leeds. So
No.
do you do you like the surf? You put up with the surf?
I can deal with it.
You can deal with it.
Yeah, I'm interested to go down today and have a look at the course. And
Yes.
I've heard there's some big waves, so.
The surf at Zuma is sort of infamous sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, too, because a lot of times the beach is eroded, so you're running downhill into the surf, when the surf's coming over. So it's a matter of it's an aggressive style of swimming when you're in surf. It's totally different. But you'll be great.
Yeah, thanks.
Beth Potter has been our guest. Beth, thank you so much.
Thank
a pleasure.
you.
Beth Potter has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob from Super League Malibu. Hold on. We'll be right back.